When you think of Cleopatra, you probably imagine her in the heart of the ancient world, surrounded by the construction of the Great Pyramids. But here is a reality check that will melt your brain. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the launch of the first iPhone and the moon landing than she did to the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza. That is how long the Egyptian Empire lasted. It is a timeline so vast that even their history has history. If you love having your mind blown by the weird corners of human existence, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment telling us what topic we should dive into next. Whether it is a tiny city or a massive historical era, we want to hear from you. Today we are dusting off the sand to explore the top 10 weirdest discoveries in ancient Egypt. But before we start the clock on our main list, let us look at two honorable mentions that prove the Egyptians were living in the future, way before the future actually arrived. First, we have to talk about their breath. Because their diet was heavy on stone-ground flour that left grit in their bread, their teeth were often worn down to the gums, leading to some seriously nasty infections and, you guessed it, terrible breath. To fix this, they invented the world's first breath mints. They boiled a concoction of frankincense, myrrh and cinnamon with honey and shaped them into little pellets. So, next time you pop a Tic Tac, thank a Pharaoh. Second, we have that iconic heavy eyeliner. While it definitely looked cool, it wasn't just a fashion statement. Both men and women wore lead-based makeup because the chemicals actually helped protect their eyes from the harsh sun and acted as a primitive disinfectant against tropical eye infection. It was literally medicinal smoky eye. Starting our countdown at number 10, we have the massive subterranean city of the dead known as the Serapeum of Saqqara. Imagine walking through the desert and stumbling upon a staircase that leads into a sprawling underground complex filled with massive granite sarcophagi. We are talking about stone boxes that weigh up to 80 tons each, with lids that weigh another 30 tons. For a long time, people thought these were for giant humans or royalty, but it turns out they were for bulls. The Apis bulls were considered living gods, and when they died, they were mummified and buried with more luxury than most modern celebrities. The precision of the stone cutting in these dark, narrow tunnels is so perfect that even modern engineers struggle to explain how they move these massive blocks into place without the help of heavy machinery. Coming in at number 9, we have a discovery that makes every modern job seem like a dream. We have all had annoying bosses, but imagine being a servant to Pepe II. He supposedly hated flies so much that he had a very specific solution to keep them away from his royal person. He would order his slaves to be stripped naked and covered head to toe in thick, sticky honey. The idea was that the flies would be so attracted to the slaves that they would leave the pharaoh alone. It is one of those facts that reminds you that history isn't just about gold and glory. Sometimes it is just about being a human flytrap for a guy who thinks he is a sun god. At number 8, we look at the Egyptian medicine cabinet. Thousands of years before Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, Egyptian doctors were already using the same basic principles. Archaeologists have found records and physical evidence showing that they used moldy bread to treat infected wounds. While they didn't understand the science of fungus and antibiotics, they realized through trial and error that the fuzzy stuff growing on the stale loaf could stop a nasty infection from turning deadly. It is a perfect example of how ancient people were incredibly observant, even if their methods seemed a little bit gross by today's standards. Moving to number 7, let us talk about the ultimate cat people. In ancient Egypt, cats were more than just pets. They were considered divine. They were so sacred that if a house caught on fire, the men would stand in a line to protect the cats from the flames before they even thought about saving the furniture. But here is the truly wild part. Killing a cat, even by accident, was a capital crime. There are historical accounts of mobs lynching Roman citizens who accidentally killed a cat with their chariots. When a pet cat died, the entire family would shave off their eyebrows as a sign of mourning. If you think modern internet cat culture is intense, you haven't seen anything yet. For number 6, we have the discovery of the world's oldest snack. When archaeologists opened the tomb of King Tut, they found jars of honey that were 3,000 years old. For number 6, we have the discovery of the world's oldest snack. When archaeologists opened the tomb of King Tut, they found jars of honey that were 3,000 years old. Now, usually, 3 millennia old food is a biohazard, but because of the unique chemical makeup of honey, it never actually spoils. The archaeologists reportedly tasted it, and it was still perfectly edible and sweet. It is the ultimate shelf-stable food. It just goes to show that if you want to leave a lasting legacy, skip the monuments and just pack a really good jar of honey. Cracking the top 5, we have the legend of the lost Labyrinth. Ancient Greek historians like Herodotus wrote about a massive building in Egypt that eclipsed even the pyramids. He described a 2-story structure with 3,000 rooms filled with intricate carvings and winding passages that were impossible to navigate without a guide. For centuries, people thought he was exaggerating or just making it up. However, in recent years, ground-penetrating radar near the Pyramid of Hawara has revealed a massive underground structure that matches the descriptions of the labyrinth. It is still mostly unexcavated, sitting beneath the sand, waiting to reveal secrets that have been hidden for thousands of years. At number 4, we meet the most unusual members of the Egyptian police force. While we use dogs today, the ancient Egyptians used baboons. Excavated artwork and skeletal remains show that baboons were trained to catch criminals and even help with harvests. Imagine trying to make a getaway after stealing some grain and having a screaming, highly athletic primate tackle you into the dust. Researchers have found mummified baboons that show signs of being kept in captivity, and while they were respected, their skeletons show they had a pretty rough life on the force. Still, it is a mental image that beats any modern police procedural show. Number 3 brings us to the infamous Curse of the Pharaohs. When Lord Carnarvon died shortly after opening King Tut's tomb, the media went into a frenzy claiming the mummies were taking their revenge. While the curse makes for great movies, the actual discovery is much more grounded in biology. Scientists eventually found that ancient tombs can harbor dormant bacteria and highly toxic molds like Aspergillus flavus. These spores can survive for thousands of years in the sealed, dry environment of a tomb. When archaeologists burst in and took a deep breath of that ancient air, they were essentially inhaling a lungful of prehistoric poison. It wasn't magic, it was just really, really old germs. Coming in at number 2, we are debunking one of the biggest myths in history. For a long time, the popular image was that the pyramids were built by thousands of mistreated slaves under the crack of a whip. However, discoveries of worker villages near the Giza Plateau have proven this wrong. The builders were actually highly skilled, paid laborers. We found their skeletons, which showed they received medical care for broken bones, and we found their trash heaps, which showed they were fed a high-protein diet of beef and sheep. They even had organized internal teams with names like the Friends of Khufu. They weren't slaves, they were a massive, nationalized workforce that took immense pride in their work. And finally, number 1, this discovery ties right back to our hook about the gap between ancient and modern technology. Inside the wrapping of King Tut's mummy, archaeologists found a beautiful, ornate dagger. When they tested the metal in 2016, they realized it wasn't made of ordinary iron. In fact, it couldn't have been, because the Egyptians hadn't mastered iron smelting yet. The blade was made of iron, nickel, and cobalt, in a ratio that only occurs in one place: meteorites. King Tut was buried with a space dagger. The Egyptians called it iron from the sky, showing they actually witnessed meteorite impacts and went out to scavenge the cosmic material to create weapons for their gods. They were literally using extraterrestrial technology to transition from the Stone Age to the Iron Age. Ancient Egypt is a gift that keeps on giving, proving that the more we dig, the weirder the truth becomes. From honey-covered servants to space metal weaponry, they were a civilization that felt both primitive and incredibly advanced all at once. Which of these discoveries made you do a double take? Was it the police baboons or the 3,000-year-old honey? Let us know in the comments which historical mystery we should count down next. And if you enjoyed this journey through the sands of time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chance to ask, how could that be? We will see you in the next one.